Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Aleks Svetski. He's the CEO and founder of Amber. Amber is an easy way to invest in Bitcoin. Here at Kalkine we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. A very warm welcome to you today, Aleks.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you having me on.
Good to speak to you today. Now, first up, Aleks, could you just explain for our viewers what Amber does and how it can help people invest into Bitcoin?
Yeah, very easily. It's Amber is the best way to think about it is a dollar cost averaging app. So if you understand what money is and the fact that there are better forms of money around the world. You know, you've got really bad forms of money like seashells or salt or Zimbabwean dollars. You have some better forms of money like maybe the Australian dollar, the US dollar. And then you have what many would argue is perfect money in the form of Bitcoin, which another way to think about Bitcoin is energy money. So it's fixed in supply, it's incorruptible, it's unstoppable, it's always on, it's 24/7, etc. So what the goal in life is to preserve your purchasing power, preserve the product of your labor by storing it in a form of money that is as uncensorable and as perfectly scarce as possible. So to loop that back in is like the goal of buying, like the goal that you have with like using a product like Amber is to buy Bitcoin and to move as much of your wealth from dollars across into Bitcoin as possible. So what Amber allows you to do is just simply download an app, link your bank account, and then set an amount and a frequency. So it could be $20 a week, $50 a month, whatever variables you set. And it will basically save for you. But instead of saving in dollars, you're saving in a superior form of money. In other words, Bitcoin. So my sister's a great example. She doesn't know anything about saving, but for the last 2.5 years, she listened to her brother and she put $20 every week aside into Bitcoin using Amber, and her $20 a week is now worth about 20 grand, which is about a 400% return on investment. So it's kind of the premise.
That sounds fabulous, and of course everyone gets very excited about the use of digital currency, and of course it is steadily rising worldwide. Many companies have started accepting digital currencies as a method of payment. So for someone who is a newbie to the Bitcoin world, what advice would you give someone for taking their first steps?
Just think about it not as trading or investing, think about it as saving. So as I said before, it's a superior form of money. You don't invest in superior money, you move into superior money. So it's a migration, and it's a one-way migration. The whole point or the whole idea around Bitcoin is that you accumulate some now and the rest of the world catches up. But because there's a finite supply, you know, the amount that you pick up now, you're actually picking up at a bargain. In the same way as when I was buying Bitcoin at $1,000, it took me 1 week effectively to earn 1 Bitcoin. Now it takes me about a year to earn 1 Bitcoin. In the next couple of years, it might take the average person a decade to earn an entire Bitcoin. So the purchasing power or Bitcoin's price is continually moving upwards, and it'll move up forever because of the fact that it's a fixed supply money and people want to move into it. They want to hold the product of their labor in the most superior form of money. So for new people, when they're coming in, just think of it as I'm saving in a better form of money, and just buy and hold it. That's it. Don't worry about trading. Don't worry about earning yield or any of this other garbage. Don't worry about trading with other, what we in the industry call crap coins, but like altcoins and any of that sort of stuff. The goal is to have more Bitcoin today than you did yesterday. And if you're doing that, you're moving in the right direction.
Now, you do make it sound very easy. Today's market can be a little bit unpredictable for Bitcoin. We've seen China introduce regulations recently surrounding Bitcoin. What's your perspective on the current Bitcoin world?
Bitcoin couldn't care less what anybody does. Not China, not America, not anybody. So that would be like someone coming out and saying, we're going to ban the internet. It's It's like, well, you've just impoverished yourself, you bunch of idiots. So China is just impoverishing themselves in the process of banning Bitcoin. So they've done nothing intelligent. And I mean, the whole thing about, oh, China's banning Bitcoin, it's going to be a big disaster. Nothing happened. The Bitcoin blockchain continues. 10 minutes, there's a new block created every 10 minutes. Like nothing has changed in the slightest. The entire network where the mining capacity was coming from, and that's something that's never happened in history before. Like that larger disruption to the network from that larger government didn't even cause a blip on the radar for Bitcoin. It just continued, which goes to show how important the underlying structure of Bitcoin is. And the price that you see, all that up and down stuff, that has nothing to do with Bitcoin's value proposition, which is a hard money built on an uncensorable network. The price is merely a representation of the difference between people's opinion about what this asset is worth. Now, if you ask me, one Bitcoin is probably, to me, worth the city of Miami. So, like, I'm talking billions per Bitcoin. If you ask some Joe Blow who just walked off the street, you might say, oh, I don't know, maybe it's a couple $100. So what a market merely represents is the midpoint between all buyers and sellers. So, of course, we're going to see this thing go up and down, but on a longer time frame. So if you just zoom out, if you go to a quarterly chart or a yearly chart, Bitcoin does not fall. Bitcoin continues to rise. So people need to just lengthen their time frame and understand that it's going to take time for the world to catch up. But we're seeing the emergence of the most powerful money in history happen right before our very eyes. And it's not something that's going to happen in a year or two. It's going to happen over decades. But as it starts to pick up pace, like, we've not seen nothing yet. When you start to see Bitcoin move $100,000, $200,000 in a day, that's when we start to know that something's happening.
Now, many people are aware of the environmental impacts of Bitcoin mining. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you believe the impact could be reduced?
It doesn't need to be reduced. It actually needs to be increased. So what people don't understand is that money as a technology, as a human technology, enables human beings to collaborate and to cooperate. That's the function of money. And when you look at the amount of energy that is wasted in the legacy system, I mean, think about what it takes for the US dollar or the Australian dollar to work. You need an entire government apparatus. You need the entire military industrial complex. You need all of the banks. You need the central banks. You need Visa card. You need MasterCard, you need the fintech players. You need all of this crap. Think about all the buildings, the ATMs, the damage done to the environment from the old system, which can all be abolished and replaced with a incorruptible, uncensorable network that takes energy and fundamentally directly transforms it into a unit of account that we can use as money. Like, Bitcoin is not it's not just more efficient, it's orders of magnitude more efficient. Like, as a comparison, the Bitcoin network, to give the world a global standard of money that nobody can get an unfair advantage over somebody else, uses the same amount of energy as the world uses on washing machines and dryers. Like, when you compare that to the amount of energy that's used to hold together the sticky tape and duct tape version of the financial system that we've got going, that we currently use, it's not even in the same universe of comparison. So all this stuff that people talk about, energy, there's a lot of energy use, that is literally stuff that comes out of people's mouth that have no concept of, first of all, what they're comparing, or number two, what the energy use of Bitcoin is for. So it's a completely moot point.
So finally then, Alex, as an entrepreneur, what Bitcoin lessons do you think are essential for people? And can you talk to me about how Amber's interface can help investors automate their Bitcoin purchases and how they can get competitive rates?
Yeah, so the biggest lesson for Bitcoin is that you need to study. Like, this isn't just the next stock pick or the next thing. This, in my opinion, and a series of very intelligent people's opinion, is that Bitcoin is going to be bigger than the internet, bigger than the vehicle, bigger than the energy revolution, bigger than all of them combined. Like, it is the most important thing happening on the world today. So if you want to understand Bitcoin, you need to research and study monetary history. You need to understand social history. You need to understand physics, computer science. You need to understand how networks operate. You need to understand proof of work, energy. You need to understand all these varied things. So really getting a grasp of Bitcoin is like a 10,000 hour experiment. There's no like sort of quick way to do it. But to help you along the journey, you want to have some skin in the game. And that's what a product like Amber does, is it allows you to buy $10, buy $50, buy $100, put $50 a week aside. Everybody can do that. I mean, people spend $100 a week on coffee. I mean, Jesus Christ, like, cut down the coffee, buy some Bitcoin, and start getting some skin in the game. And as you're doing that, read. Like, we've got some really good resources on our website, amber.app. There's some brilliant resources on, if you go bitcointimes.news. I mean, there's loads of great resources out there from people like Michael Saylor, Preston Pish, Robert Breedlove, Gigi. Jordan Peterson did a recent segment on Bitcoin. So there's so much good stuff out there. It's like, I really suggest people to read and understand this, because they may well be asleep right through the greatest wealth transfer in the history of humanity. And it's going to happen in a single generation because of the period of time that we're in from a technological and financial standpoint in the world. So get some skin in the game and read. Don't try and get rich quick. That's not what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. Bitcoin is a build generational wealth opportunity. And that is very different than just the next stock pick.
Well, Alex, it's been absolutely fascinating chatting with you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And with that, I will sign off for today, but watch this space for more. Till then, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.